for all the hard work that you do to bring your sacred music to us this morning. And just take that in for a moment. Really take in the enthusiasm of the divine that is moving in through and as each one of us, moving in as and through and as the music, the sacred silence that we experienced earlier. Sensing what is moving through you right now or what is calling you, being receptive to this holy moment. Just take a deep dive into your soul and breathe and allow that sacred moment to permeate your entire being, the divine within you. Become available in this moment to the divine. Because you have entered into a time and space and into a community that is a space of ultimate reality, into a sacred community, but it is not about the building. It's not just a building or a group of people. It is an intentional state of consciousness manifesting as this gathering. It is an intentional state of awareness, here to remind each other of the newness of the day, the newness of this moment, the only moment that matters. Each person standing in availability for a revelation or a new insight, whether you are in the room or whether you are online. I call forth a new insight. I call forth being available for it in this moment. We're not here to move through our lives, simply problem solving. You're not here to look at our lives on our planet Earth as an obstacle course, although it may seem like it is sometimes, especially the last few years, where we jump through hoops in order to please an external divine spirit or God or whatever you wish to call it, so that one day we can all get into heaven. We're not here to hurdle ourselves, if you will, from problem to problem, or to live our lives worrying about what some call heaven and hell. We are aware as one evolves that the earth is not a place of impediment. It is not a place to merely put our time in and then retire to some heavenly place. It's not a place to struggle over and over again, nor is it a place to just survive. Instead, this is an opportunity that we all have right here and right now, a place where we get to allow the many qualities of our soul to emerge. And it is being called forth right now to practice the gifts that we came here with and to enjoy those gifts and to begin to start thriving, not merely surviving. You are a unique being. We are all unique beings, and we are here to make choices and to learn and to experience life in its fullness in our own individual and unique way. We are here to live from that place of wholeness and holiness, which not only means the complete in the perfection of spirit, but to claim your holiness. You're not here to live a limited life, nor are you here to imitate life. You are one of a kind. We are all one of a kind, and we're the real deal. The real deal, that perfect blueprint that is everyone's destiny. You were meant to be here this morning regardless of what you think of that, or how you think of that, or what you believe about that, because you're here to surrender to your spiritual life. I'm here to surrender to my spiritual life, and we're going to do it together whether we want to or not, because we're being in the highest acceptance right now, which is surrender. We're here to live a life of wonder, 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 turning into wonderful. And that is our theme for the entire year. And living everyday wonder is January's theme as well. And this week, the theme or the topic is prove it. Prove it. Do you remember when you were a little kid and you'd say something to one of your friends and they'd say, well, prove it. I don't believe you. Prove it. That's the first place I went with this. But I'm not going to do that. So let me reiterate, spiritual living doesn't just happen on the meditation cushion or on Sunday mornings. Spiritual living is a way of life that happens every moment of every day. It is applying spiritual tools and principles to every area of our lives on a regular and consistent basis, a daily basis. And when we do so, life flows easier. Don't you find that it flows easier when you do your spiritual work? It flows easier and choices become clearer, and seeming miracles are everyday occurrences. There is wonder in every day just waiting for us to live it, just waiting for us to discover it. And you can think about it this way. It is our daily life that in our daily life when we encounter the divine. The wonder of spirit is everywhere. We can't escape it even if we wanted to because we are inseparable from it. It is our truest essence. When we become conscious of it and live in our awareness of it, our daily experiences become opportunities for transformation and for our individual and collective evolution. Last week, our guest speaker, did y'all enjoy Mary? I thought she did a great job. Mary Knight? Yeah, Mary Knight talked about questioning everything. The truth is, if you believe that you have all the answers, you're not asking the right questions. And I loved when Mary shared about her granddaughter, Zora, who wanted to play in the snow and make a non-binary snow creature. I loved that. This morning, I would like to begin with a story. And it goes like this. An energetic young boy, despite the fact that he was born without a left arm, wanted to learn with a well-known and respected Japanese judo master. On the very first day, when he showed up to class, the very first day of lessons, the master taught him a very difficult judo throw. On the second week, he was asked to practice the same judo move. Every other week, the young boy was taught to practice the same one technique over and over and over again. He could see other students in his class learning all kinds of different moves and techniques, but he couldn't understand why. Even after 3 months of training, the sensei had taught him only one move. "Sensei," the boy finally said, "shouldn't I be learning more moves?" The sensei replied, "Just focus on this one throw. This is the only move you know, but this is the only move you will ever need to know." Well, of course, the little boy did not quite understand what his teacher was up to, but continued training like his sensei instructed. Several months later, the sensei took the boy to his first tournament. Well, of course, the young boy was terrified to enter the tournament filled with other well-trained and experienced judo students. Surprising himself and the audience, the boy easily won his first 2 matches. The third was a little harder, but the young boy pulled off the technique, the only technique he knew, and won. The 4th round amazingly went the same way, and the young boy found himself in the tournament final, facing a much bigger, much stronger, and tougher opponent. For some time in the finals, the young boy without a left arm appeared to be overmatched. Concerned for that the boy might get hurt during the match, the referee called for a timeout and was about to stop the match. when the old sensei intervened and insisted on letting the boy continue. As the match resumed, the opponent made a mistake and dropped his guard. Promptly, the boy used his move to pin him. The boy had won the match and the tournament with only one move. Surprised by his own victory, stunned really, the boy summoned courage to ask the sensei how he was able to win the tournament with only one move. "You won for two reasons," the sensei answered. "First, with several months of dedicated practice, you've almost mastered one of the most difficult throws in all of judo. And second, the only known defense for the move you learned is for your opponent to grab your left arm." I love this story because it not only addresses and talks about consistent and dedicated practice, but it's also about overcoming what some may consider a weakness and turning that weakness into your greatest strength. So let's break this down. Our organization is called Centers for Spiritual Living, not Centers for Spiritual Navel-Gazing. Living requires active participation, application, and practice. Life is an experience that must be experienced. Ernest Holmes said that one of the greatest difficulties in the new order of thought is that we are likely to indulge in too much theory and too little practice. As a matter of fact, we only know as much as we can prove by actual demonstration. It used to be in the older days, in science of mind, when a practitioner wanted to renew their license, they had to have a demonstration, a written demonstration from someone they had coached or supported. So let's talk about how this demonstration appears, and let's talk about this beautiful class called Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life as an example. It's a tenet of our philosophy. It's what we say. Change your thinking, change your life. And for some, it's a basic assumption in science of mind that informs our concept of the creative process and our methodology. But when was the last time that you really looked at this axiom with an objective eye? When is the last time you really recognized how you were demonstrating in the world? How you were demonstrating in your life? Last week Mary explored the value of asking questions, and this month we have been looking at wonder in our daily lives and the power of curiosity. What questions can you think of that would open a greater inquiry into and an exploration of this axiom? Change your thinking, change your life. We've already seen that simply stating spiritual principle doesn't change our experience. We can run around and talk about it all day long, but it doesn't change our experience unless we're actually practicing it. So what does change your thinking really mean? Perhaps it means changing not only what we think about, but the way we think. Perhaps in order to really change our lives, more than just our thinking, we must change our beliefs and our behaviors. Perhaps our thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors arise from our experiences, from our practices. And what we think and believe and how we behave also influences our experiences. And if we want to prove it, we have to practice it. If we want to prove it, we have to practice it. One of the areas where practice has really affected my life is the 12-step program. 12-step groups transform lives because people work the steps. And you can use those 12 steps for anything in your life. They take responsibility for their lives and they practice on a daily basis. The same can be said for science of mind. It transforms our lives when we take responsibility for our spiritual growth and we practice. I say it all the time. Plan your work and work your plan. Plan your spirituality and practice it. In See No Stranger, Valerie Carr writes, "We become what we practice. A demonstration is the result of embodying something so fully and so completely that it takes form. And the only way to reach that level of understanding where we know that we know that we know is to practice. We become what we practice." And here's the deal. Over the next 11 months, we will have so many opportunities to practice in different areas of the laboratory of our lives with a variety of practical tools that prove spiritual principles actually work. And you can think of it this way. Life is an experience that must be experienced. Our greatest experiment this year is to discover how approaching life with awe and wonder and curiosity transforms our experience of it. How does one get to Carnegie Hall? By practicing. How does one demonstrate a principle? By proving it. How does one live spiritually? By practicing and proving it. So this week, I invite you to ask yourself, am I willing to practice? Because the truth is, you are already practicing all the time. All the time. But here's the thing, are you willing to take responsibility for what you're practicing? What areas of your life do you need to really take a look at to prove your life as a spiritual being? Change your thinking, change your life. Let's go into prayer. It is from that place where I know that everything is sacred, everything is holy, that I am the living proof, that we all are the living proof, that there is only one source and one power, one essence, one energy, one eternal, sacred, evolving, beautiful and amazing world. It is that infinite wisdom and intelligence that I know as the universal intelligence, that I know as the divine, that I know as the one mind that is my mind now, that I know is that which creates out of itself every minute, every second of every day. How beautiful and amazing that we stand as the living proof that there is only one mind, one source, And I know all of this as love and abundance and prosperity and wholeness, grace, goodness, joy. And as I know this to be the truth of the one source, the one energy, the one infinite intelligence, I know it is the truth of me. And if it is the truth of me, then it is the truth of each and every person within the sound of my voice and beyond. It is unlimited, limitless. And it is that which is seen and that which is unseen. It is that which is made from the invisible to the visible. And so it is from that knowingness that I lie upon the altar of truth and speak this word for this community, knowing that right now, just from my words, that practice is already taking place, that the infinite wisdom and intelligence is already proving right now the words that I speak. Because this prayer that I'm speaking is answered long before I even thought it in the one mind. For the one mind always knows. And so I know that it is through my spiritual principles and practices that I evolve, that I unfold, and that I open up and surrender to the limitless possibilities of this life, my life, your life, our life, and the life of Ahava. Knowing that Ahava too is unfolding, and all of its members and all of those who are yet to be here in this sacred community, knowing that it is unfolding through those practices, and that each day is the living proof. I know that for anyone who may be feeling less than, or maybe feeling a lack of, that spirit is right where they are. The divine, the one mind is right where they are, and working in this moment in perfect divine order. And so that each life is unfolding as that divine through the one source. How grateful I am to know this truth, that this community and all of its loving, online, in person, yet to come individuals are unfolding as that connection that cannot be broken to the one source of all. How grateful I am to know this truth. How grateful I am as I release my word into that perfect universal law, knowing that the law always says yes. It always says yes. It always says yes. Yes, the place of grace. I let this prayer be by saying Shalom, Alhamdulillah, Ashe, Namaste. This prayer is done. I leave it knowing it is so, and so it is.